अभी तक हमने जितना भी पार्ट कवर अप किया है, अगर उसमें कुछ डाउट से यू डिड नॉट अंडरस्टैंड एनीथिंग, ऐसा कुछ पार्ट था कि जो नहीं समझ रहा था, एनीथिंग ऐसा कुछ होगा, सो यू कैन आस्क मी राइट नाउ और एल्स वी विल कंटिन्यू.
सर ह्यूमन सेल में प्लास्टिड क्यों नहीं रहता है?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So, plasmid is something a peculiar key feature of a prokaryotic cell. So, plasmid मतलब वो कैसे आता है? What is plasmid? It is something जो extra chromosomal होता है and that can be transferred from one cell to another cell. So that is something a kind of adaptation you can say, और जो बोलते ना something which is required for or needed for the prokaryotic cell, because उनके पास कुछ भी ऐसा highly developed, well developed system नहीं है जैसे हम लोग के पास है. And that's why. So we don't need any plasmid in our eukaryotic cell. That's why we don't do that. And the things which we do not require in a eukaryotic cell, वो नहीं है. So there are many organelles also जो पहले present है, but अभी they are not required, they are not under any use. और इसलिए वो निकल गए. Like we can what can say with the time of evolution के साथ और with the time वो खत्म हो गए. So since eukaryotic cells have a proper modes of बोलते ना उनके पास प्रॉपर जीन्स है इन अ डीएनए इटसेल्फ, दैट इज अ न्यूक्लियर डीएनए इटसेल्फ, जो सब काम कर सकते हैं विच आर प्रेजेंट विच आर रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द सेल टू वर्क. So that's why we do not require anything like plasmid in prokaryotic in eukaryotic cells. But then there are some examples like yeast. Yeast में there are some plasmids which are present. But yeast is again very small and a very simple kind of eukaryotic cell. Yeast क्या होता है? Yeast is a single cell eukaryotic organism, which is very much similar, we can say, to the prokaryotic cell. Okay, उसमें उसका structure is not that difficult or that complex to be more precise, इसलिए उसमें है. बट अगर हम लोग हाईली इवॉल्व लाइक अल्गेस में देखेंगे या फिर अदर फंजाइज और देन प्लांट्स एनिमल्स, देर आर नो नथिंग समथिंग लाइक प्लाज्मिड विच इज प्रेजेंट, बिकॉज हम लोग को उसकी जरूरत नहीं है. प्लाज्मिड का मेजर फंक्शंस क्या है? रेजिस्टेंस एंड ऑल, विच इज लाइक हम लोग को रेजिस्टेंस की जरूरत ही नहीं है. अगर हम लोग ने रेजिस्टेंस जैसा कुछ अपने बॉडी में लेके आए तो दैट विल बी उल्टा हार्मफुल फॉर अस, बिकॉज वी आर ऑलरेडी फेसिंग द प्रॉब्लम्स लाइक एंटीबायोटिक रेजिस्टेंस एंड ऑल. तो ये सब की हम लोग को जरूरत नहीं है. दैट्स व्हाई वी डू नॉट हैव प्लाज्मिड्स इन आवर सिस्टम. इट इज वेरी सिंपल वर्ड्स. अगर हम लोग को और डिफिकल्ट वे में जाना है, इवोल्यूशनरी वे में, सो देर आर टू डिफरेंट लाइक देर आर फ्यू रीजंस बिहाइंड इट. बेसिकली जैसे मैंने मेंशन किया कि प्रोकैरियोट सेल्स एंड यूकैरियोटिक सेल्स, उनका स्ट्रक्चर वाइज दे आर वेरी डिफरेंट एंड देर आर सम फंक्शंस which are peculiarly associated with the plasmids only. बट वो फंक्शन हम लोग को यूकैरियोटिक सेल्स में चाहिए ही नहीं. दैट्स व्हाई वी डू नॉट हैव प्लाज्मिड्स. Okay, but still I will read more about it and find a more scientific answer. But this is a good question.
हम लोग ह्यूमन सेल में प्लास्टिड इंसर्ट करके ऑर्गेनिज्म बना सकते हैं?
सो ह्यूमन सेल में प्लाज्मिड इंजेक्ट करना ऐसा डायरेक्टली नहीं होता. तो देर आर डिफरेंट वेज. ओके, तो तुम लोग वो पढ़ोगे इन योर 12th स्टैंडर्ड का बायोटेक्नोलॉजी चैप्टर में. देर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, जहाँ पे हम लोग सेल्स में बैक्टीरियल प्लाज्मिड ऐड करते हैं और उनको ट्रांसफॉर्म करते हैं. तो यू कैन ऐड सम प्रॉपर्टीज लाइक अगर तुम्हारे लेट्स से तुम्हारे पास एक बैक्टीरिया है, that bacteria is not producing some that bacteria is very simple. Okay, बट तुम चाहते हो कि तुम्हारा वो बैक्टीरिया है दैट शुड प्रोड्यूस अ कंपाउंड दैट इज हैविंग अ वेरी गुड स्मेल. तो तुम लोग उससे परफ्यूम बना सकते हो. ऐसा तुम लोग ऐसा तुम चाहते हो. नाउ व्हाट विल यू डू? यू विल टेक अ जीन फ्रॉम अ प्लांट विच इज हैविंग अ वेरी गुड फ्रेग्रेंस काइंड ऑफ प्रॉपर्टीज. तो वैसे जैसे तुम लोग वो जीन लोगे, यू विल इंसर्ट दैट जीन इनटू द प्लाज्मिड और तुम वो प्लाज्मिड ऐड करोगे इनटू द बैक्टीरिया. जैसे ही वो प्लाज्मिड वो बैक्टीरिया के अंदर जाएगा, the bacteria will start expressing it, मतलब it will start producing that particular compound जो कि fragrance देता है and it will produce something which will be fragrant in nature. तो ऐसे हम लोग सब use करके we can actually change the properties. Now you are saying कि using different plasmids can we make a different organism? We cannot, we do not require a typical plasmid to make a complete organism as such. There is something called as animal tissue culture and प्लांट टिश्यू कल्चर. अगर तुम लोग को प्लांट बनाना है, यू रिक्वायर्ड सम सेल्स फ्रॉम प्लांट. अगर तुम लोग को एनिमल बनाना है, तो अगर तुम लोग को याद है टोटिपोटेंसी, स्टेम सेल्स, so that is something we require to make an entire organism, but which is also not a easy job. और ये सब को अभी एथिकली इज नॉट अलाउड, बिकॉज अगर ऐसा हम लोग ने परमिशन दे दिया गवर्नमेंट ने, तो कोई भी अपने लैब में कुछ भी कर देगा, कोई मॉन्स्टर बना देगा, दैट विल नॉट बी एथिकल. सो वी डू नॉट जनरली प्ले विद नेचर, वी जनरली डू समथिंग जो कि हम लोग के फेवर में है, समथिंग जो हम लोग को रिक्वायर्ड है, हम लोग के लिए बेनिफिट्स है. लेट्स से अगर कोई प्लांट है तो हम लोग को और उस पर बहुत सारा पेस्ट एंड ऑल का प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है. So what we can do maximum, we can introduce a pest resistant gene into the plant so that the plant will not get affected by any kind of pest. So that can be done. Let's say we want a plant जो कम पानी में grow हो सकता है. So we can add a gene into plant that will be help in the growth of the plant with less water. So ये सब हम लोग कर सकते हैं using plasmids. So यहाँ पे हम लोग plasmids use कर सकते हैं. But not a whole organism. पूरा नया organism हम लोग नहीं बना सकते using plasmids. बट कोई भी नया प्रॉपर्टीज ऐड करना, कुछ निकाल देना, ये सब हम लोग कर सकते हैं यूजिंग प्लाज्मिड्स.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I hope that is convincing. But तुम्हारा question was really good about the eukaryotes में plasmid क्यों नहीं होता. I will read about it and will let you know. Okay, so anything
Yes.
else? Yeah, anything else? So if no, I will just proceed now. So last time हम लोगों ने न्यूक्लियस का थोड़ा overall देखा था. Then we had seen there are 4 major components of nucleus. What are those 4 important components?
Nuclear envelope,
nucleoplasm, nucleolus, and chromatin network.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct answer. So there are 4 important components, and I think I had tried to cover all the 4 components in the last lecture, but I could not finish the functions part. मैंने सिर्फ read किए थे and मैंने explain नहीं किए थे. So today we will begin with the functions of the nucleus, and then we'll try to understand कि वो क्यों important है. We all may say nucleus is a controlling center, nucleus is a master cell organelle, but क्यों? So the very first point जो कि हमने last time भी देखा था, it plays an important role in heredity and variations. Now what is heredity? Heredity मतलब transmission of characters from one generation to the next generation. Okay, like let's say तुम लोग you have some characters जो तुम्हारे parents के साथ match होते हैं. Your parents are having some characters जो तुम्हारे grandparents के साथ match होते हैं, and that's all. That's why we say ना कि this is my family tree. Okay, your grandparents, then you, your parents, then you, then in future your kids, then that's how it goes. ये सब में common क्या है? That we are passing on some characters. So कभी अगर देखा रहेगा like normally also your mom says yeah, your eyes are more like your dad, or your hairs are more like your grandparents, and something like that. Why? Because these are because of the hereditary. We actually take up some characters from our parents, from our grandparents. Now from grandparents not directly but via parents. And ये सब कैसे possible है? Because of our DNA. Because during reproduction क्या होता है? Sperm and the ova both contains the haploid set of chromosomes. So 23 pairs from 23 chromosomes from father, 23 chromosomes from mother, दोनों एक साथ आएंगे and they will make a diploid zygote which is having a complete set, that is a 46 chromosome. And then because of this, as we know, 23 chromosomes are coming from father. It will have a properties from the father. 23 pairs from mother.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah.
सर ब्रदर और सिस्टर का भी क्रोमोसोम, सर ब्रदर और सिस्टर का डीएनए मैच होता है ना?
Yes, DNA मैच होता है, but not completely. Okay, not completely. So that's my next point. So हम लोग ने अभी देखा कि what is hereditary. That's what I'm explaining कि there is a passing of characters from one generation to the next generation. And why then अगर ऐसा है तो ideally हर एक फैमिली में जितने भी लोग हैं they should look exactly same, right? Because हम लोग तो DNA को पास करके जा रहे हैं एक के बाद एक. But we are not looking similar. और जैसे तुमने बोला कि brother and sister, even though they are the children of the same couple or same parent, they are not looking exactly similar. Why? Because there is something called as variations. जहाँ पे हम लोग देखते हैं कि जब भी हम लोग DNA मतलब जब भी क्रोमोसोम्स आ रहे हैं फ्रॉम फादर एंड मदर, देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज रिकॉम्बिनेशन, क्रॉसिंग ओवर. ये सब टर्म्स तुम लोग सुने रहेंगे इन योर मियोसिस, इन सेल डिवीजन पार्ट. बिकॉज ऑफ दिस क्रॉसिंग ओवर एंड द रिकॉम्बिनेशन क्या होता है, ये जो प्रॉपर्टीज होते हैं दे गेट मिक्स अप. सो अगर लेट्स से कि मतलब अगर मैं एकदम नेव एग्जांपल दूं, बहुत बेसिक एग्जांपल. सो लेट्स से कि इफ father is kind of, let's say, dark in color and mother is very fair. Okay, so when the baby might take either father's color or either mother's color, or it might be there is something like combination of like the baby will be having some intermediate kind of color. तो ये सब पॉसिबल है. Why? Because we actually shows meiosis जहाँ पे क्रॉसिंग ओवर होता है, मतलब the chromosomes actually exchange their part. तो थोड़ा part from the chromosome from father's side will get exchanged from the chromosome from mother's side, and because of which there is a variation. और ऐसा हर एक जिन के साथ होता है. That's why we are having different properties or different looks, जिसको हम लोग phenotype बोलते हैं, कि हम लोग का even though there are some properties are similar to the parents, we are not exact replica of our parents. There are always differences. We are like combination, जो कि father and mother दोनों की वजह से बन रहा है. और जिसको तुमने बोला कि brother and sister, yes, there are some proportion of a DNA which will surely match. Okay, and this ये जो like brother and sister का DNA रहेगा, even that will match with your parents. But then there will be still some differences in a brother and sister DNA. Why? Because ये जो combinations की बात मैं कर रहा हूँ या फिर ये जो variations की बात मैं कर रहा हूँ, they will be different. Maybe at the time of brother कुछ अलग वेरिएशंस हुए रहेंगे. there will be some different kind of recombinations जो ऑब्जर्व किए जाएंगे, किए होंगे, हुए रहेंगे बेसिकली. At the time of the sister, maybe there will be some different kind of recombinations, कुछ और जीन्स में चेंजेस हुए रहेंगे. So that's why they are not exactly similar, because this is a natural process. It is not like a fixed protocol कि हाँ यही जीन में चेंजेस करना है, इतना ही चेंज करना है. ऐसा हम लोग पहले से डिसाइड नहीं कर सकते. ओके, दिस इज कंप्लीटली नेचुरल प्रोसेस. बट ये सब डिपेंडेंट किस पे है? हम लोग के डीएनए पे, हम लोग के जीन्स पे. एंड द डीएनए is present inside the nucleus, and that's why nucleus is playing an important role. Okay, I hope you understand the difference between the terms heredity and variation. Heredity मतलब transmission of characters from one generation to the next generation. Variations मतलब the differences. We are not exact replica. We all have different properties and all. Okay, so that's why that is the variation. So I hope I could convince you. जो मैं जो तुमने क्वेश्चन पूछा था about the brother and sister thing, तुमने समझा वो पॉइंट?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it is because of the variations and the recombinations जो हम लोग को differences देख रहे हैं. But in case of let's say the twins or the monozygotic twins, तुम देखा रहेगा there are some twins जो कि exact similar दिखते हैं. There are some twins, even though they are twins, they are not looking like वो same नहीं दिखते. Even there are sometimes the twins, दोनों भी babies मेल होते हैं, like boys हो सकते हैं, या फिर दोनों में babies girls हो सकते हैं. Now let's not go towards the sex point of view, like the boy or girl point of view, but let's discuss about कि okay उनका phenotype कि जो कभी कभी दो ट्विंस एग्जैक्टली सिमिलर दिखते हैं, कभी कभी दे आर नॉट सिमिलर. व्हाई? बिकॉज जो कि एग्जैक्टली सिमिलर दिखते हैं जिनको हम लोग बोलते हैं मोनोजाइगोटिक ट्विंस, मतलब वो एक ही जाइगोट से निकले हुए रहते हैं. द जाइगोट्स गेट डिवाइडेड इनटू टू पार्ट्स एंड देन इट ग्रोज सेपरेटली, एंड दैट्स व्हाई दे लुक एग्जैक्टली सिमिलर. बट इन केस ऑफ द अदर केस जहाँ पे एक्चुअली दो स्पर्म्स एंटर करते हैं, दे एक्चुअली फर्टिलाइज इट टू लाइक द ओवर, देयर आर लाइक there are two sperms which are actually involved, and that's why we actually observe there are two zygotes separately, and that's why the two individuals जो born होते हैं they are different, they are not exactly similar looking, or they are not having any ऐसा बोलते ना facial expressions or facial properties, what we can say, वो exactly similar नहीं दिखते. Okay, so that's what the difference is. Why? Because जब हम लोग monozygotic की बात करते हैं, all the process of like fertilization और लेट्स से रिकॉम्बिनेशन, क्रॉसिंग ओवर, ये सब एक ही बार होता है. बट इन केस ऑफ द सेकंड केस जहाँ पे द टू स्पर्म्स आर एंटरिंग एंड दे आर फर्टिलाइजिंग द टू ओवर्स एट द सेम टाइम, व्हिच इज काइंड ऑफ रेयर इवेंट, बट इट हैपेंस. सो बट देन द थिंग इज यहाँ पे दोनों का क्रॉसिंग ओवर अलग हो रहा है, दोनों का रिकॉम्बिनेशन प्रोसेस अलग हो रहा है, दैट्स व्हाई वी गेट टू डिफरेंट इंडिविजुअल. सो दैट इज वन एग्जांपल आई कैन गिव टू एक्सप्लेन व्हाई पीपल लुक डिफरेंट. ओके, and then the second point, so I hope it is quite convincing और तुम लोगों को समझ रहा है. Then the second point, it is a site for synthesis of DNA, RNA and the ribosomes. I think DNA we all know because replication takes place, S phase होता है, cell division का replication takes place inside the nucleus only, and that's why DNA is very important component of a cell, because वो ही है जो सबको control कर रहा है. देन RNA because the transcription process कहाँ पे होता है, मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया था, ट्रांसक्रिप्शन टेक्स प्लेस इन a nucleus only, so that's why DNA से RNA, so even the RNA synthesis also takes place in a nucleus. And then ribosomes, so ribosomes के बारे में हमने बात किया था in a we all know it is a protein factory and all, but when I was talking about the nucleolus part, हमने बोला कि the nucleolus is actually a site for राइबोसोम बायोजेनेसिस, मतलब वहाँ पे कंपोनेंट बनते हैं राइबोसोम्स के. बट देन वी ऑल नो राइबोसोम्स के दो कंपोनेंट्स होते हैं, स्मॉल कंपोनेंट एंड द लाइक स्मॉल यूनिट एंड द स्मॉल लार्जर सब यूनिट. ये दोनों के दोनों न्यूक्लियस में बनते हैं, बट they will be released outside the nucleus and then they can assemble themselves into a complete ribosome and they can do their function. So all these three important components, DNA, RNA, ribosomes, are actually synthesized inside the nucleus, and that's why it is an important organelle. Now that is too important. The third one again, it plays important role in,
सेकेंड वाला पॉइंट फिर से एक बार बताओ ना.
yeah, no problem. So I said nucleus plays very important role in a synthesis of DNA, RNA and ribosome. So क्यों important role play कर रहा है? Because DNA का synthesis, we all know it is a step during the mitosis, जहाँ पे हम लोग को पता है कि जो interphase होता है, there is a G1 phase, S phase and the G2 phase. तो जो S phase होता है, that is a synthesis phase. During that phase, DNA का replication होता है, and this is one of the important we can say one of the important process or a function which the cell carries out. Okay, so that's why DNA synthesis कहाँ पे होता है? Nucleus में. RNA synthesis, it regularly happens by the process of transcription. If you remember central dogma, DNA to mRNA, mRNA to protein. So even this particular process of the RNA synthesis takes place inside the nucleus, and that's why it is again becomes an important organelle. And the third one, synthesis of ribosomes. If you remember, मैंने explain किया था during nucleolus का part, that the nucleolus is a site for ribosome biosynthesis or a biogenesis. Okay, इसका मतलब क्या है कि ribosomes के जो दो components हैं, they are actually synthesized inside the nucleolus, और जब वो synthesize हो जाते हैं, उनका पूरा complete हो जाता है process synthesis का, they are then released outside the nucleus via nucleopores. और एक बार वो साइटोप्लाज्म में आ गए, दिस कंपोनेंट, द स्मॉलर कंपोनेंट एंड द लार्जर कंपोनेंट विल असेंबल देमसेल्फ and then they can enter, like they can start the process, so they can actually start that function of protein synthesis. So because all the three important components, DNA, RNA, ribosome, DNA genetic material, RNA important for synthesis of different genes and all, and ribosomes again proteins. Okay, so all the three important components are actually synthesized inside the nucleus, and that's why nucleus becomes an important organelle. Okay, then the third point, I hope you understood now it. Yeah, still nahi samjha. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great. So the third point now, it plays important role in a protein synthesis. Now again the same thing, because ribosomes के जो components है वो कहाँ पे बनते हैं? Inside the nucleolus. That is the one thing. और जो mRNA लगता है for synthesis of a protein, जो actually enter करता है into the process of translation, even that is synthesized inside the nucleus by the process of transcription. That's why nucleus is also important for the process of protein synthesis, because अगर nucleus ही नहीं रहेगा तो there will be no process of transcription, there will be no process of ribosome synthesis, और अगर ribosomes और mRNA ही नहीं बनेगा तो proteins भी नहीं बनेंगे. That's why the nucleus is one of the important organelle which plays major role in a protein synthesis. Okay, and now if you remember last time हमने बात किया था about the chromosome. So at that time मैंने बोला था that the chromosomes number are actually specific for a particular species. जैसे कि human beings में we are having 46, Drosophila में there are 8, yeast में there are 12 or I think 16, like that. I think 16. Yeast में there are 16, and like this chimpanzee में there are 48 and all. Like with this, with the number of species, the number of chromosomes actually changes. But then within a species, the number of chromosomes is fixed. Okay. So that becomes one of the important aspect for any particular, we can say for any particular आइडेंटिफिकेशन और एनी पर्टिकुलर इवोल्यूशनरी स्टडीज. तो लेट्स से अगर हम लोग को अभी कोई हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं, कंस्ट्रक्शन साइट चालू है वहाँ पे, we get some kind of fossils. Now fossils are like in a form of, let's say, some kind of bones. So with some studies we just got to know कि वो जो bones है that are actually belonging to the some mammal family, but we are not having any other information. अभी मैंने mammals में अगर बोला, mammals is like a big group, right? It's not like something कि okay 4-5 लोगों को हम लोग fix करना है. No, mammals is a very big kind of super class, we can say. Okay, उसके अंदर there are multiple subclasses, there are multiple different animals which are involved. So now what I can do while doing the analysis, one analysis I can do that is called as I can just take out the number of chromosomes which are present in that particular cells. Okay, वो जो fossils रहेगा, we will try to take out some kind of DNA from that particular fossils and we will try to find out कि उसमें कितने chromosomes present है. And it is actually, this can be actually done. So this is one of the very important process in a you can say history and all that studies. Also they also do all these things. Okay, so अगर हम लोग को दिखा कि okay it is a mammal and the number of chromosomes is this much, then we can say okay अगर इतना number of chromosomes है, then this animal can belong to this particular category. So और उसके बाद then we can again go under some more detailed studies and finalize कि वो कौन सा species हो सकता है. So for this also the chromosomes actually helping us. That's why nucleus plays another important role. And because of all this, the nucleus is now considered as the master cell organelle because it contains DNA, and DNA is something I think that is controlling everything. If I am having a dark color, it is because of the DNA. If I am having a curly hair, because of my DNA. I am having a blue eyes, because of my DNA. All the phenotypic and the genotypic characters जो मैं दिखा रहा हूँ, all is because of my DNA. Okay, so that's why it is becomes one of the very important organelle. We will study about the DNA and like its function and how it actually works in the 12th standard. अभी मुझे सब कुछ डिस्क्लोज नहीं करना है. लेट्स स्किप थोड़ा सीक्रेट्स जो हम लोग नेक्स्ट पार्ट में पढ़ेंगे. So for now this is all about the nucleus and its functions. I hope you understand that things. And
Phylogenetic
yeah,
studies.
phylogenetic studies मतलब evolutionary studies. So let's say कि we are having some kind of information about a particular species, तो हम लोग उसको बैक ट्रेस करेंगे कि ओके वो कौन से क्लास में बिलोंग करता है, उसके सिमिलर और सिमिलर स्पीसीज कौन कौन से हैं, उनका कॉमन एंसेस्टर है क्या, लाइक दैट थिंग. सो ऑल दिस काइंड ऑफ स्टडीज, इवोल्यूशनरी स्टडीज, कैसे उसका इवोल्यूशन हुआ था, वो कौन कौन से स्टेप से शायद पास ऑन हुआ रहेगा, ऑल दैट काइंड ऑफ स्टडीज इज कॉल्ड एज phylogenetic studies, or its synonym, or it's also named as evolutionary studies. Okay, anything else? No. So I hope this is clear to all. Just read it once and then you might get few doubts, then हम लोग discuss कर सकते हैं. Okay, so with this we have completed the nucleus part and the function of the nucleus part and the function of nucleus. Now let's begin with the last part of our chapter, that is a cytoskeleton. Okay, so this is also one of the kind of organelle we can say, बट दिस इज नॉट ऑर्गेनल जो कि ऐसे जैसे कि हम लोग को पता है कि प्लास्टिड्स था या फिर माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया था, विच इज बेसिकली रेस्ट्रिक्टेड टू वन पर्टिकुलर एरिया विद इन द सेल. ऐसा नहीं होता है. साइटोस्केलेटन इज समथिंग विच इज स्प्रेड, विच इज लाइक प्रेजेंट ऑल ओवर द सेल, पूरा साइटोप्लाज्म में वो प्रेजेंट रहता है, एंड दैट्स व्हाई इट्स नेम्ड एज साइटोस्केलेटन. साइटो something present in the cytoplasm. Skeleton, like we have a skeleton all over our body. This is something which actually gives support to the cell, and that's why it's known as cytoskeleton. तो एग्जैक्टली होता क्या है ये, अगर हम लोग बायोलॉजिकली देखेंगे, इट इज नथिंग बट द नेटवर्क्स ऑफ फाइब्रिन, okay, which is present throughout the cytoplasm, the kind of fiber like structure which are present throughout the cytoplasm. Okay, so when we say cytoplasm, it includes three important categories. Okay, there are three important types you can say of a cytoskeleton. First one is the microtubules, second one is the microfilament, and the third one is the intermediate filament. I think out of these three, तुम लोगों ने microtubules का part सुना रहेगा during your cell division chapter. Can you tell me exactly क्या होता है microtubules? microtubules, spindle formation, metaphase, anaphase, during the metaphase and anaphase, there is something called as spindle fibers which are formed. That spindle fibers are nothing but something related to microtubules. They are also composed of the tubulin, which is the basic protein of a microtubule. So read it again. It is surely ये पक्का तुम्हारे book में mention किया रहेगा. So try to read it again. Okay. So coming back to the topic. So साइटोस्केलेटन के 3 टाइप्स है. माइक्रोट्यूबुल्स होता है, माइक्रोफिलामेंट्स होता है, एंड द इंटरमीडिएट फिलामेंट्स होता है. ओके. नाउ ऑन व्हाट बेसिस ये डिफरेंसेस है, क्यों माइक्रोट्यूबुल्स अलग है, माइक्रोफिलामेंट अलग है एंड इंटरमीडिएट फिलामेंट अलग है, क्या बेसिस पे डिफरेंस है? तो देयर कंपोजिशन एंड देयर फीचर्स. तो बेसिकली अगर हम लोग देखें बाय कंपोजिशन वे, ये तीनों भी है जो अलग अलग प्रोटीन्स से बने हुए हैं. So when I talk about the microtubules, it is actually made up of the protein named as tubulin. Okay, so tubulin is one of the important protein which is present and which is actually involved in composition of or making up this typical microtubules. Okay, this is the same protein which is involved in formation of a spindle fibers during your metaphase.
So repeat again.
Yeah, so tubulin is a protein which actually makes your microtubules, and this is the same protein tubulin which is involved in synthesis of the spindle fibers during the metaphase of a cell division. So this is a protein involved in a spindle formation also. Okay. Then the second category is a microfilament. So this is again a type of cytoskeleton, but here the protein which is actually involved is a actin. Okay, so actin is a protein which actually makes up this particular microfilament, and they are actually present throughout the cytoplasm. So there are multiple processes. So even the cell, not all the cells, but there are some cells which actually shows kind of movement. So they actually can move from one part to the other part. Not all the normal cells, but you must have heard about something like cancer cells. So this cancer cell actually have a tendency to move from one place to other place. तो तुम लोगों ने मतलब बहुत नॉर्मल सुना रहेगा कि ओके किसी के तो लेट्स से someone had a cancer in their colon, मतलब पेट में कैंसर था, but then now it is migrated to the other parts of the body. तो उसका किडनी का प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, उसके लीवर में प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, all these things. So why? Because the cancer cell can actually migrate from the one part to the other part, and in this migration process, this typical cytoskeleton actually plays a very important role. Okay, so you will always observe some kind of differences in the cytoskeleton of a normal cell and in the cancerous cell. The cancerous cell always shows some kind of differences with respect to the cytoskeleton. Okay, so that is just for your information, not mentioned in your book, but just to explain you why this typical cytoskeleton is important. Okay, and the third important part of this cytoskeleton, that is the intermediate filament, are the proteins which are actually involved, involve the fibrous protein. So examples like keratin and all, these are all the fibrous protein. So this is like keratin. Can you please tell me keratin कहाँ पे present होता है normally? Which all parts of your body are composed of keratin? Simple. Okay, sorry, someone was saying something, but आवाज clear नहीं था. Which part of your, sorry?
Hemoglobin.
No, hemoglobin is something related to blood. Keratin. Sorry?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Or?
Skin.
Yes. So your skin and your hairs are mainly like contains keratin. Okay. Skin may be not that high proportion we can say, but your nails, जो तुम लोग के नाखून है, नाखून and your hairs mainly contains keratin. तुम लोगों ने like mostly girls so must be knowing, there are many beauty parlors के board पर there is this typical name, keratin treatment and all, to give your hairs a proper kind of, बोलते ना, I don't know what they actually do, but I just have read about the keratin treatment in the beauty parlor. So they actually say, okay, after that treatment, your hairs look more shiny and they become soft and all, whatever it is. But then, so, and even many shampoo.
Sir, feather.
Yeah, even the feathers of the birds. Okay, so there even keratin is present in such compound. So these are fibrous kind of nature. Okay, they are not soluble, they are fibrous. So there is another category of the proteins called as soluble protein or the globular protein, which are different from this typical keratin protein or a fibrous protein. Okay, now after learning about this particular, yeah,
Intermediate filaments only contain the fibrous protein.
yes,
Okay. Can
yeah.
you explain again microfilament?
Yeah, so microfilaments, there is a only like there is a it includes the proteins which is named as the actin. So actin is also a, it's not a fibrous protein, it's kind of a globular kind of protein which is actually involved in a different particular functions. तो हमारे बॉडी में जो भी kind of as I mentioned cell migration, motility जो होता है ये सब में actin actually काम करता है. So it is actually found as some kind of network in your cell which will help the cell in the movement and all. Even the cell to cell adhesion, attachment जो कि होता है ना, दो cells हम लोग के बॉडी में सब cells एक दूसरे को अटैच रहते हैं. That's how the tissue forms, right? The tissue cells form the tissue. How? Because the group of cells come together, they form a cluster. So even this typical formation of tissue, these microfilaments and the cytoskeleton plays a very important role. Okay, so all of them are involved in different functions, but all of them are considered as a cytoskeleton. And why they are having a differences? Because all of them are composed of different proteins. जैसे कि microtubules में था tubulin, microfilament में है actin, and intermediate filament में है fibrous protein. If you go in detail, which I don't want to go really, actin के भी there are multiple types. There is beta actin, there is alpha actin, there is gamma actin. There are multiple types of actin, and they actually play different roles. But it is very wrong to go in such details at this particular stage. So for now, just understand there is something called a cytoskeleton. जिसके three types है. Microtubules is the first one, microfilament, and the intermediate filament, and the proteins which they are actually composed of. So tubulin, actin, and the fibrous protein. Now looking at their overall functions, why these particular cytoskeletons are important? Because they helps in the maintenance of the shape of the cell. That's why they are called as cytoskeleton. Then it also helps in the contraction of the cell, motility जो कि मैंने explain किया था. So it also helps in the motility of the cell and also the cell organelles within a cell. So one organelle can move from one part to the other part. So that's also possible. But because of what? Because of this typical cytoskeleton. Then comes, there are certain cells which actually shows changes in their shape and their properties. Even this is possible because of the cytoskeleton. And the last important function is a cell division. So one of the important process which I had told you, that is a spindle fiber formation, which is because of this typical tubulin proteins of the microtubules. Okay, so these are the all functions जहाँ पे cytoskeleton is playing a very important role, and that's why it is one of the, so there are multiple proteins like this tubulin, actin, fibrous proteins, all of these they actually have a different functions, but overall अगर हम लोग देखें, so the overall function under one roof if I want to say, then it is nothing but the maintenance of the cell shape and then उसका size, contraction, motility, movement, ये सब में ही overall उनका function है. Okay, so I hope you understood this. With this, we'll continue with the cytoskeleton, and as I mentioned that it is involved in the movement and then contraction and all. So two important organelles are there, known as cilia and the flagella. The same thing हम लोगों ने already एक बार discuss किया था in a prokaryotic cells, right? So again the same thing, but now with respect to the eukaryotic point of view, because structurally अगर हम लोग देखें, the flagellas or the cilia which are present in the eukaryotic cells are actually different from that of the prokaryotic cells. Okay, so why now? What are the typical cilia and flagellas in case of eukaryotic cell? उनका role क्या है? So both of these, the cilia and flagellas, are nothing but the hair-like structures which are coming from like the protoplasmic outgrowth. So it is nothing but the जो हम लोग का सेल मेम्ब्रेन है उसमें से कुछ पार्ट्स एज आउटग्रोथ ग्रो होता है, इट कम्स आउट and it forms a structure like the cilia and flagella. but then cilia are small in a size and the flagella are quite a larger in size. If you remember, even in a same was there in the case of prokaryotic cell. cilia बहुत छोटे होते हैं और बहुत सारे होते हैं, बट फ्लैगेला एक ही लंबा सा होता है और बहुत कम नंबर में रहते हैं. ओके, उनका फंक्शन इज टू जनरेट द करंट इन अ फ्लूइड मीडियम. Okay, to generate a current मतलब क्या, they actually move, so they can just have a flap like movement or they just can have a spin movement, because of which the cells can move, or it can have a typical movement because of which some kind of material can enter the cells or some kind of material can be eliminated from the cell, and also for the locomotion point of view. ओके, तो जैसे कि मैंने बोला, अगर मुझे सिलिया और फ्लैगेला को डिफरेंशिएट करना है, तो सिलिया इज अ क्वाइट स्मॉलर इन साइज एंड दे आर प्रेजेंट इन अ numerous number, like there are multiple cilia on a same cell. It is possible. Okay, and they actually act as a oars. Now what is oars? The typical बोलते हैं ना, वो जो हम लोग नाव चलाते हुए रहता है ना, फ्लैप लाइक स्ट्रक्चर जिससे हम लोग पानी को पीछे खींचते हैं, दैट काइंड ऑफ दैट स्ट्रक्चर, बिकॉज ऑफ विच इट अलाउज द पैसेज ऑफ डिफरेंट मटेरियल. ओके, and also for the movement of the cell, whereas flagella is kind of longer and it's they are not multiple, like okay, there can be multiple but less than the cilia. So cilia can be present all over the surface, बहुत सारे हो सकते हैं. The flagella can be lesser than that always. Okay, so this is the basic difference in a cilia and the flagella. There are two points you need to keep in mind. एक तो उनका number और दूसरा उनका size. So if someone asks you what is a cilia and what is a flagella, you should be able to write it down with respect to these 2 points, and both of them are nothing but the protoplasmic outgrowth, मतलब growing from the protoplasm itself. Now वो काम कैसे करते हैं? Okay, so both cilium and flagellum, they actually have a similar kind of structure, even though उनका number, उनका size vary होता है, उनका typical structure is same. Now both of them actually consist of structurally 3 important parts named as the basal body, basal plate and the shaft. Okay, so जो basal body है, that is basically the base of basal body, मतलब base. So it is actually the base of this typical cilia or a flagella, which is present out at the outer part of the cytoplasm. Okay, and ये जो basal body है, that is actually derived from the cell organelle, which is named as the centriole. तुम लोगों ने सेम वर्ड सेंट्रियोल और सेंट्रोसोम सुना रहेगा इन योर सेल डिवीजन पार्ट, जहाँ से spindle fibers are actually arising. So the same kind of centriole is also present here and is actually giving rise to this typical basal body. Okay, so this typical basal body is having a typical structure basically. Okay, so if you took a yeah, someone is saying something but I am not able to hear. Can you please be louder?
Hello, sir. The basal body means
Basal body is a typical structure. So ये जो फ्लैगेला होता है, there are 3 important parts of the flagella. तो ये फ्लैगेला या फिर सिलिया 3 important parts से बनता है, जो उसका बेस रहता है, जहाँ से वो एक्चुअली अटैच होता है सेल को. That part is called as the basal body. उसके बाद जो रहेगा that is the basal plate, और उसके बाद जो लंबा सा पार्ट जो हम लोग को बाहर दिखता है, that is nothing but the shaft. Okay, which is actually present outside the cell. So basal body is the base, जहाँ से actually वो attach है toward the cell, to the cell. Okay, and this particular basal body is actually formed from the organelle named as centriole. और जब centriole और हम लोग उसका structural अगर compose उसका composition देखें, तो it looks like there are 9 peripheral triplets. तो जैसे कि तुम लोग को ये डायग्राम में दिख रहा है, you can see there are two circles. So this is duplicate, but in a similar way, in case of basal body, there are triplicates. Okay, so there are instead of the 2 circles or the 2 small things, sorry, जहाँ पे तुम लोग दिख रहे हो, you will observe 3 such structures and it will form the 9 such kind of structure from which the fibrils will come out. Okay, so this is the typical structure of axoneme actually, which we will discuss in a later part. Okay, but then structurally it has a 9 peripheral triplets of the fibers. Okay, so that is about the basal body. But जो उसका shaft है, which is actually the exposed part, जो कि actually बाहर present होता है, that is composed of two important parts, the sheath and the axoneme. The word sheath matlab kya? Kind of covering. So the sheath is nothing but the covering membrane of the cilia or the flagella. Okay. So it is a covering, but जो उसका internal core part है, that is called as the axoneme. So the shaft of the cilia or the flagella is composed of three important components called as the sheath or the axoneme. Sheath is the outer covering, whereas the axoneme is the core part of the cilia or the flagella. Just the way I said कि basal body के पास there are 9 peripheral triplets. Similar kind of structure is present in case of the axoneme also. जहाँ पे also there are 11 fibrils running parallel to the long axis. Now you will say, so this is structure of the axoneme. You can see the circles, the एक bigger structure. इसके बीच में there are two separate circles, and then there are this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 9 duplicates. So this is the typical structure of axoneme, which contains 9 peripheral duplicates plus 2 central. Sorry, yeah. So you can see the cursor. So the 2 central microtubules. So it can, that's why that 9 plus 2 total 11 fibrils are present in case of the axoneme. Okay. So this is the typical structure of axoneme. So the peripheral जो उसका doublets है, that composed of doublets मतलब दो components. So उसके पास दो tubules रहते हैं. One is called as the A tubule and the second is called as the B tubule. So this is the typical structure of the doublet. The central में है, उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं central microtubules, which are not really technically attached to each other, but there are some kind of connection which is always present. Okay. Now you can see ये जो circular central microtubules के उसके बाद में something called as green color का components है. This green color components is nothing but the inner shape which is present around the central microtubules. Okay, and the central microtubules are actually attached to the all the peripheral duplicates or the doublets by a typical structure called as the radial spokes. You can see this green color part which is actually attached to this central shape. Okay, so this is the typical structure of the axoneme of a shaft of the cilia or a flagella. I hope you understood the meaning of the 9 plus 2. So it is generally called as 9 plus 2 because there are 9 peripheral doublets and the 2 single central fibrils. Okay, and as I mentioned, there is a central sheath which is actually attached to the peripheral doublets by the radial spoke. And as I mentioned, there is a connection between the two central microtubules. You can see the small 2 lines. This is nothing but the bridge. Okay, so these two central circular microtubules are also attached to each other by a typical structure called as bridge. Okay, and apart from this, जैसे कि ये बीच वाला एक दूसरे को अटैच है, even the 9 peripheral doublets are attached to each other, and this is actually through the linkers. So the part by which one doublet is attached to the second one is called as a linker or the inter doublet bridge. Okay, तो जो सेंटर का पार्ट था जिसको कनेक्ट करता है that is only bridge, and the peripheral को जो कनेक्ट करता है that is inter doublet bridge. This is the typical structure of a axoneme and the sheath, which is the important part of the flagella or the cilia. Okay, so what you need to keep in mind, the cilia and flagella consists of the basal body, basal plate and the shaft. The basal body has a typical structure which is a 9 peripheral triplets of the fibrils, and it actually arises from the centriole, whereas shaft is the exposed part and consists of 2 important components named the sheath and the axoneme. Sheath is nothing but the outer covering and the axoneme is nothing but the core part. And then axoneme has a typical 9 plus 2 structure जहाँ पे different fibrils are actually running parallel to the longer axis. Okay, this is थोड़ा सा difficult, I understand, but just try to understand the structure. तो तुम लोग को जितना easily structure समझेगा, you will be able to write it by in your own words. So you don't need to mug up from the textbook. So this is typical structure of axoneme. Just go through it and you will understand. Draw it. Okay, so this is a homework for you. Draw the structure of the axoneme, and there is one more part of the centrioles which we will be discussing the next. Okay, so I hope you understood the axoneme and the sheath and the typical, basically the overall structure of the
Yes.
cilia and the flagella. Okay, So now we'll go to the next part, that is the centriole and the centrosome. So मैंने बहुत बार mention किया था about the centriole. It is giving rise to the basal body also, and even in your cell division parts. So it gives rise to the spindle fibers and all. But exactly होता क्या है? Okay. So when I talk about centrosome, it is actually a typical structure which is found near to the nucleus, and it is specific to the animal cells. It is not present in a plant cell, it is only present in the animal cells. Okay. And structurally अगर हम लोग देखें तो ये जो centrosomes है, it composed of a pair of cylindrical structure. तो इसके बाद दो typical structure cylindrical structures present होते हैं, and that this typical cylindrical structure is actually called as a centriole. So this is the one structure, okay, and a similar way there is a one more structure which is present in a centrosome, okay, but these two structures are actually present perpendicular to the each other. Okay, so जैसे कि यहाँ पे ये एक दिख रहा है तुम लोगों को structure, I hope my cursor is visible, yeah. So this is a one typical cylindrical structure, और ऐसा ही और एक रहेगा which is perpendicular to this particular structure, and these two structures are actually present, or these are actually surrounded by a specific amorphous substance called as a pericentriolar material. Okay, what is pericentriolar material? This is an amorphous substance which is actually surrounding the two cylinders of the centrioles. Okay, now अगर हम लोग और डिटेल स्ट्रक्चर में जाएंगे तो each of this typical cylinder of the centriole is made up of again the 9 set of triplet. So यहाँ पे भी मैंने मेंशन किया था, if you remember this point, it has a 9 peripheral triplet of the fibrils. The same again here. Okay, each cylinder of the centriole is made up of 9 set of triplet. So why 9 set of triplet? जैसे कि axoneme के पास there were doublet. In case of centriole, there are triplets. So you can see there are three structures. Sorry, 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So these are the 9 times of the structure present. But there are no typical central structure as such. जो भी present है सब peripheral है. So these are the 9 peripheral structure which are actually made up of the protein known as the tubulin. Tubulin कौन सा protein? Tubulin कौन से type का cytosol बनाता है? Microtubules.
Microtubule.
Yeah, so these are 9 set of triplet microtubules which are actually made up of tubulin. And apart from this, इसके जो बीच में structures हैं, these are nothing but the proteins which are actually attaching the triplets to each other. Okay, so these proteins, these are proteins are called as a non-tubulin proteins. So these are also proteins, but they are not a very specific tubulin kind of protein. There are some other kinds of proteins which are जिनका काम क्या है to connect these typical triplets to each other. So this is a typical structure which actually looks like a cartwheel like a structure. जैसे हम लोग पता है बुलक कार्ट का जो typical wheel होता है वैसी structure. Okay, which contains the different. Sorry, this contains the 9 set of triplet microtubules. Okay. In diagram, you will see multiple structures like a cylinder and radial fork. These are nothing but the typical parts of this centrioles. I'm sorry, this is nothing but typical parts of the centrioles, but then they have not mentioned anything in your book, so I don't want to go in details. But if you want, we can discuss it in the next class in detail, just from the diagram point of view, because they just are given in a diagram and there is no other explanation about it. So I don't want तुम लोग को बहुत ज़्यादा bouncer या ये सब बातें, so I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible from my side. Okay. But still, this is all about the structure. But at the proximal end of the centriole, the tubules are actually they are actually sort of, if you can see, this is a typical one cylinder. Sorry. So at the proximal end, it forms a typical as a connecting point kind of structure, which is called as a hub. Okay. And these typical hubs are the peripheral triplets are actually connected to the hub by means of the radial spokes. So if you remember, in case of axoneme also, the peripheral doublets they were connected to the central shape by the means of the radial spoke. The same kind of structure is present in the case of centriole also. Okay, and as I mentioned, because of this typical structure, they looks like a cartwheel. Like क्या बोलते हैं उसको, like typical let's say कि bullock cart का रहता है, typical cartwheel like a structure is visible under the microscope. People actually have observed this kind of structure under microscope. Okay, And as I mentioned, this typical structure helps in the assembly of the spindle apparatus during the cell division. And that's why they have taken a very good attention by the scientists, because cell division is one of the जितना easy वो सुनने में लगता है उतना ही complex, and there are hundreds of different mechanisms which are dependent on the cell division process. So जितना easily हम लोग उसको discuss करते हैं उतना वो है नहीं. There are multiple other processes which are involved and it needs to be studied in detail. So in this particular case, the centrioles play a major role. Okay. And as I know, as I mentioned already, it is actually involved in a synthesis of the basal body of the cilia and flagella, जो हम लोगों ने already discuss किया था during the cilia flagella construction के time. So this is all about your cytoskeleton. Don't take a very, I know this is थोड़ा difficult than the other organelles जो हम लोगों ने study किए थे इससे पहले. I do understand that thing. But this is something new. I don't think तुम लोगों ने ये पहले कभी study किया रहेगा. That's why you may feel थोड़ा difficult, but it is not. Just read it थोड़ा एक बार अच्छे से. And if there are any terms, anything you are not understanding, I'm always there to answer your queries. So don't worry. But please read. जब तुम खुद से read करोगे, then you will get some understanding and then you will get some queries. So तुम लोगों को अच्छे से समझेगा. Okay. So that's all about the cell structure and the cell organization. I hope you understood the things. We have started from the basics of the cell, then the cell theories, modern cell theories, then the prokaryotic cell, uska structure, then eukaryotic cell, uska structure, uske different organelles, and finally we have ended it with the cytoskeleton. Okay. If you are having any doubts, I will be happy to answer.
सर
Yeah.
पाइनोसाइटोटिक वेसिकल मतलब?
Okay, pinocytotic vesicle. So there is something called as endocytosis. There is something called as pinocytosis. Endocytosis मतलब क्या? Engulfment. कि हम लोग कुछ particles को engulf करके there is formation of kind of structure जिससे हम लोग particles को cell के अंदर लेते हैं. Okay. So when these particles are solid in the nature, we call it as a endocytosis. But then when these are typical liquid structures are present, we call it as a pinocytosis. So taking up the liquid part is actually called as a pinocytosis. So solid रहेगा तो endocytosis, liquid रहेगा तो pinocytosis.
यस.
Yeah. Anything else? If no, there is a small thing I want to do for you all. So it's not a difficult thing. So it's a kind of very easy task. So just for तुम लोग कितना समझा है, तुम लोग कितना याद रह रहा है, वो मुझे समझे for that thing. So there is a small quiz. Okay, I hope you are having a email ID. अगर नहीं भी रहेगा, so don't worry about it. We will just get 10 minutes. We just have 5 minutes, and I think that will be enough for you all because the questions are super easy. So the quiz contains 15 questions, okay, which are including the MCQs and the true or false. मैंने purposely कोई भी single word या फिर long answer questions add नहीं किए हैं for your convenience. And all the questions are compulsory. No negative marking. Just write your name properly and just one attempt. Okay, अगर एक बार नहीं भी हुआ, wrong हुआ, don't worry about it. It is not your board exam, nothing. So I'm just pasting the link in a chat box. You all can use the link and solve it. Okay. I hope it will help you. It is very easy. Okay, so I think there is a privacy setting with the chat box. So don't worry about it. I will try to give it to you in a next class. I will talk to sir pehle and then I will try to take. Okay.